Chapter 51, The Illuminati of Bavaria, founded in 1776. The sect of the Illuminati of Bavaria was founded on May 1st, 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, a professor at the University of Ingolstadt, educated by the Jesuits. It was composed of 3 classes of adepts, each of which was again subdivided into degrees in the following manner. The 3 classes are nursery, masonry, and mysteries. Under nursery, it's preparation, novice, minerval, illuminatus minor. Under masonry, it's symbolic, Scotch, and lesser. But under symbolic, it's apprentice, fellowcraft, master mason, illuminatus major, or Scotch novice. Under the Scotch, it's novice, illuminatus dirigens, or Scotch knight. And the lesser have the epopt, or priest, prince, or regent. Under the mysteries, there is lesser and no, damn, I did that wrong. It doesn't make any sense this way. Sorry, I tried to do it. It's epopt and priest. Yeah, they're just, I don't even know how you're supposed to, I'm going to show you because I screwed it up and I'm not going to restart it. This is what I'm reading right there. I don't know if you can see that. There. Sorry to make you read. Anyways, I did the lesser, so now I'm under there. Because it doesn't make any sense. You've got the mysteries, and then there's lesser and greater. So the greater, then, of the mysteries is Rex, King, Homie, and Roy, Homie Roy, and Areopagite. All right, back to normal reading. Sorry about that. This society seems to have borne a close resemblance to the Order of the Golden Cross, which was reorganized in 1767. According to Le Forester, Illuminism was just as much masonry as the system of the Rose Cross, that of the Templars, or the crowd of Masonic French degrees, and it is wrongfully accused of having taken in Bavaria the cloak of masonry. The intention of the founder was to constitute a Protestant organization to fight Jesuitism using Jesuitical methods. He was ably assisted in his efforts by Adolf, Baron von Neig, Mosenhausen, Bode, Aristarchus, Klutz, Fischer, Zwack, Merz, Hurdle, the Marquis de Constanza, Count Savoia, Bassius, Baron de Montegelis, and Nicolai. Behind Nicolai was Moses Meckelson, and behind Meckelson, the Jewish Kahal, the Jewish International World Government. Nicolai had established about the year 1765 at Berlin a literary review with the object of propagating the pernicious doctrines of a shallow Illuminism, and in that the infancy of German literature, when this periodical had scarcely a rival to encounter. The influence it exerted was more extensive than can at present be even conceived. Barhart and Baisdow at the same time, in chapped and popular tracts, scattered among the lower classes the poison of infidelity, and they, as well as Nicolai, were in close communication with Weishaupt, carrying on with the most reckless violence, and with the weapons of the most shameless ribaldry, the warfare against Christianity. The great critic Lessing, the founder of the modern German literature, lent his powerful support to the Anti-Christian League. While librarian at Wolfenbüttel, he edited a work composed by Ramarius consisting of various irreligious essays entitled Fragments of Wolfenbüttel, and which, from the tone of earnestness and dialectic acuteness wherein they were written, exerted a very prejudicial influence over public opinion. As the organization of the Illuminati developed, so did the ambitions, which ended in a plot to subvert Freemasonry to its aim of world dominion by any and all means. Politically speaking, its tendencies were Republican. Religiously, it was anti-Christian. Its members were pledged to blind obedience to their superiors, and this was ensured by a strict system of secret confessions and monthly reports checked by mutual espionage. Each individual used a pseudonym instead of his own name to help disguise his identity. But for the Freemason Baron Adolf von Neig, a Templar who succeeded in having it absorbed by Freemasonry, the order would have perished soon after its creation. After obtaining control of certain Masonic lodges, Weishaupt and his associates recklessly vaunted their growing power. Their organization then becoming permeated by the agents of their enemies, the Jesuits and Rose Cross orders, they were denounced to the Elector of Bavaria, Charles Theodore, by the Duchess Mary Anne of Bavaria, Princess Clementine, his cousin, whose secretary, Joseph Utzschneider, had, as an Illuminatus, become acquainted with certain methods of the order. Constanza, who had ordered him to hand over certain letters written by Frederick II to the Duchess Mary Anne, and suspecting blackmail instead of complying with the request, he denounced the order. On March 2nd, 1785, the Elector wrote his second and final edict, suppressing the order of the Illuminati, but it was not until July 10th, 1785, that incriminating evidence was obtained on the activities of the sect when one of its members, a priest, Jacob Lang, was struck dead by lightning while walking with Weishaupt at Ratisbon. His body was placed in the chapel of Saint Emmeran, and a Benedictine found some documents and a list of the members of the Illuminati sewn in his clothes. These he handed over to the counselor of the government of Upper Bavaria. More papers were found when the authorities, who were watching Zwack's relations with a certain Jew, Mayer, the superintendent of Bassus Chateau of Sandersdorf near Ingolstadt, decided to raid the place, and in 1787 the judge charged with the inventory of the succession of the valet of Baron Mandel, the chamberlain of the Elector, found among his efforts an iron box full of papers concerning the Illuminati. This discovery, Mandel himself, an Illuminatus, was summoned to explain. Among the details of his evidence is the statement that the Lodge Badger had 97 degrees. The coincidence of this number becomes of interest when compared with the 97 degrees of Memphis sent to England in 1762 by the Grand Orient of France. When Weishaupt was banished from Bavaria by his sovereign, he was received at the court of the Duke Ernest Louis de Saxe-Gotha, who, besides a pension, gave him the title of honorary counselor. The Marquis of Constanza, his secretary, and Count Savolia, the keeper of the archives of the order, 2 Italian accomplices, were also banished with pensions of 400 and 800 florins, respectively. And as Illuminism was already said to have found its way into Italy, there is no reason to suppose that these gentlemen failed in their administration of the subsidy. In 1788, after the suppression of Illuminism in Bavaria, Bernhardt and Neig attempted to revive it in the German Union, but it was not till 1810 that it really reappeared in Germany, this time under the name of the Tugendbund. The introduction of Illuminism into France was effected by the Marquis de Mirabeau, who, during his residence in Germany, was initiated by Movillion, a professor of the Caroline College of Brunswick. He rose high in the order, and on his return to France in September 1788, initiated the Duc de Orleans, who was Grand Master of the Freemasons of that country, and also Talleyrand. Frost, in Secret Societies of the European Revolution, refers to Borel as asserting that the whole of the Masonic lodges comprised of the Grand Orient, 266 in number, were illumined by the end of March 1789, and there is no doubt that, with the ground so well prepared by the works of Voltaire and Bossuet, D'Alembert and Diderot, and with the example and influence of the Duke of Orleans, and the exertions of men such as Mirabeau, Talleyrand, Sieyès, and Condorcet, the system spread with rapidity. General Lafayette, Barnave, Brissot, La Boquefold, Payne, and Fouquet were also members of the sect for France. The following curious piece of information is furnished by Le Grand Dictionnaire Universel de 19 Sekel by Le Rose in the Articles of Illuminism. The Illuminati did not disappear after the last century. They are still to be found in Germany, England, and Russia, where they have formed a queer sect in which castration is one of the features of initiation. The taste for the supernatural, the passion of the marvelous constantly urge these mentally unbalanced men in whom the imagination is fantasized to throw themselves into the fantastic visions which constitute Illuminism.